Hello, World of Tank Blitzers, and hopefully a few future mumrads. Hey, I'm Littlefinger, and today doing a full tank review on the AMX ELC bis. You can see it here in the Halloween garage. This is probably my most requested tank to review, so hopefully this guys keeps you happy. It is a super fun tank to drive based upon the fact that it's got 65 kilometers per hour top speed, but it is extremely difficult to play in my opinion. Probably one of the hardest tier 5 tanks based upon the fact that the turret is limited to 35 degrees left and right, so this turret does not turn all the way around, meaning that you've got to turn the tank to get your shots in, which certainly complicates playing the tank when you're especially wanting to run this at full speed. So let's take a quick look at the tech tree. You can see it here at the bottom. It is a light tank, tier 5. Looks like I got enough credits there to go on up to the AMX 12T. This will take you all the way up to the Batchat 25T. These tanks all have auto loaders from this point forward, so should be able to dish out a high amount of damage, hide, relocate, and repeat. So what about this tank? It comes with a 75mm SA32 gun. You can see there the AP is only 74. The penetration for AP is only 74. So you want to quickly move on up to the SA44L. You've got 120 on the pen, 170 on the APCR. HE is only 38, and you're getting about 160 damage. You can see here maneuverability 91%. Not much in the way of armor, 25mm on the front and 10 and 15 on the sides and rear. Speed limit there, as I said, 65 kilometers per hour. It does have pretty good traverse speed at 57.54. So looking at the setup here, consumables, I'm running repair kit, multi-purpose, and adrenaline. Provisions running improved fuel, protective kit, and hot coffee. Ammunition, 30 rounds of AP, 10 rounds of APCR, 7 rounds of HE, and don't forget, for your premium ammunition APCR, you can purchase it with credits by clicking on the button to the right there. Equipment, again, tier 5. I would not recommend spending spare parts on this, so you're going to want to run the gun rammer. It's going to increase your rate of fire. You do have good pen numbers, so the rammer's your best choice there. Protective modules, I run this just because of my consumable setup. And improved optics, obviously you're on the move all the time in this tank, so camouflage net's not doing you much good. So let's get that view range up to a very respectable 275. If you do spend spare parts, you've got the enhanced gun lane drive that's going to cut your aim time down to 3.6, or supercharge. So I would go with your enhanced gun lane drive. This tank does have fairly long aim time. Enhanced armor, well, you don't have much armor to begin with, so I would suggest the improved assembly. Gives you 35 extra hit points. Moving on to improved control, it's going to give you a 5 degrees extra on the traverse, and enhanced accelerator is only going to give you 1.83 on the traverse. To my opinion, improved control is the way to go there. Vertical stabilizer, always love the vertical stabilizer. I would go with that. Enhanced tracks over toolbox, and consumable delivery system over high-end consumables. Alright guys, here's a new website I found. It's called blitzhanger.com. They've done a great job. The layout's awesome. I think they're working on doing a tank compare section, which should be great. Just really love this site, and come visit them and help support them in their endeavors to make this a much better place. As you can see here, I've got the AMX ELC pulled up, got it configured the way I'm running it. The 75 millimeter SA44L gun there. You can see we've got hit points of 660, view range of 267. Our damage per minute comes in right at 1230. Penetration there is 120 with a damage of 160 for our AP. We can then switch that over to our APCR, penetration of 170, damage of 135, and then we can switch it over to HE 38, penetration and damage of 175. So you can see here, very nice velocity on the firepower, the shell velocity. 75 millimeter, obviously, gun, rate of fire 7.69. Reload time is pretty long there at 7.8. Aim time 2.27 is not good. Obviously, you can see here with the red, the orange, and green. If they're good, they'll be green. If not, orange. And if they're bad, they're red, obviously. So anyway, one of the things I didn't point out at the beginning of my discussion on this tank, another reason it's difficult to play, -5 degrees on the gun depression. That's horrible. So you really got to play this on flat surfaces, or otherwise you got to crest over hills and expose yourself. Gun elevation of 13 is not bad, and again, there's that arc aiming left and right, 35 degrees, makes the aiming of the turret difficult, especially when on the move. And you'll see that in some of my play. Again, the best thing about this tank here is its speed and mobility. You can see a lot of green numbers there. Armor profile, well, not a lot of armor to speak of on this tank. You can see it's just about all yellow here. Really nothing you can do. You will get a few bounces, but not many. One of the things I do like about this tankhanger.com website is it talks about tactics for each tank. And you can see here, they call it peekaboo or peekaboom, where you hide behind cover, typically hard cover. You are fully loaded and ready to shoot, and you just peek out, you shoot, and go back behind your hard cover and continue with that strategy. This tank is not recommended, obviously, for front line. It does not have good armor, so you don't want to be in the front. Hit and run is good, and that's kind of the play style that I tried to use for this tank. So take a shot, relocate, and move on. Excuse me. Long-range sniping, it's not too bad at that. It's also very good, obviously, if you can do that, you can stay hidden and not get shot at. Obviously, you can't circle of death in this tank because it doesn't have a turret that rotates all the way around, so it's very difficult. And one-on-one, again, because of that turret, it is extremely difficult to take out somebody one-on-one. So anyway, go support these guys. Great site here, and let's look at how it compares to the other lights at Tier 5. Alright guys, here's blitzstars.com and their tank compare section. You can see here we've got the ELC on the left, the Leopard, the Crusader, M24 Chaffee, and I threw in the M7, which is a medium but plays a lot like a light tank. So you can see here at our damage per minute, just under 1200 is the worst of the class. And that's part of the reason that I find this tank very difficult. You can't carry games in this tank. It's just not possible. Penetration numbers, 120 is actually pretty good. Only the Crusader's better. Our Alpha at 160 tied for the tops there. A reload of 8 seconds, rate of fire of 7.45, all kind of play into our low DPM numbers. So moving on to weapon handling, you can see our aim time at 2.18 is the worst of all of these tanks. Dispersion's right in line with the other ones. Again, gun depression of only 5 degrees, horrible. And then the fact that you're limited to that 35 degrees left and right makes this tank hard to play. Moving on to movement and mobility, you can see here a lot of red for these other tanks, meaning that we perform much better than they do. And actually we've got a 0.91 and 1.3 train resistance. So our engine horsepower of 275, power to weight of 41 horsepower per ton. You can see that's by far and away the best of these tanks. Credit coefficient of 122 is just meh, nothing great there. View range, obviously we can get that up to close to 275 when we use equipment. And then you look at our armor, again horrible compared to all of these other tanks. So what does that mean for a win rate there of the 90-day average of 57.78? It's actually not too bad. Average damage there looks to be outside of the M7, which is kind of curious to me. I would have thought that the M7 would be higher than that, but it is the worst average damage of all of the light tanks. So really, you know, I'll show it. I'll try to highlight it in the gameplay, but it's a very difficult tank to play. Very unique play style, and you know, just a difficult tank to carry in. Alright guys, first game, Canal, top tier. It's kind of a frustrating game in a way, as this team did not really help me out too much, but this game's got some good examples on how to play this tank. So we've pushed up to this first hill. Remember, we are not a frontline fighter, so we're going to let these other guys go in there and figure out where these other tanks. SU-85 peeks around, and you can see now I'm in a position where I can just back around these hills here. So we get 2 shots into the SU, and we're just playing it very cautiously at the moment. One of the things that you will need to learn how to do in this tank is to be very aware of where the enemy reds are located at all times, and this means like all 7 of them, because with no armor, you are susceptible to a tank like a KV-2 can one-shot you. So you can see how we're just playing the hills here. I'm just using them for protection, trying to get in as many shots as we can. We've already lost 2 tanks, now 3. This team is really folded fast, and one part of the problem here is that there's been no focus fire whatsoever. So now that I know that they're all around in the corner there, I am going to push around. You can see the KV there. And I'm going to push around and try to get to their backsides and play this kind of as a shoot and run. Unfortunately, that shot goes high. Really could have been a big part of this game, and unfortunately here for this Leo, I kind of block him a little bit. Didn't mean to do that. So he takes an unnecessary shot. He does say negative. Let's abort this position. So I'm not sure what he does, because he ends up dying here in a second. So now it's just 2 tanks against 5, and we know that they are all around in this area. So again, just trying to use these hills. You can see there a little bit of difficulty with the aim time because that was greater than 35 degrees, so I got to turn this entire tank around. Obviously when you do that, the aim receptacle goes back up. So willing to take a shot here. Didn't really want to, was hoping he might miss, but finish him off. We are down to 4 tanks, and we're all alone. So what can we do? And I'll speed it up here. You can see 65 kilometers per hour. I am going to relocate to a position where hopefully their mediums outpace their heavies, so I can separate them from the pack. So I'm going to come around here and try to use this bush on the corner here. If I get into too much trouble, I can jump down into the valley there. And this is really unfortunate because I bounced that first shot. And I'm not sure if this shot misses here or just bounces again. Actually, that last shot, ironically enough, hit their ELC, and I got the kill shot. That's kind of funny. But anyway, this guy is doing a good job with the angles and coming in at me. Probably should have just rammed me right there, but chose not to, and we managed to finish him off. You see the KV just shot. So I've got a minute or two here where I can relocate. Again, I'm going to try to use my speed and get around while he's down in the lower bowl area. And there's the other KV. So again, speed it up because I'm trying to set myself some distance from these guys. Get off the radar and relocate here. So I wanted to set up on the hill here, and you can see a tree goes down. So he's in there somewhere. So a minute 30, and they didn't cap, which really was a dumb move on their part. They should have both just gone to cap from 2 minutes on. So again, a round map again. We are putting some miles on the tank in this game, but at this point, with 2 half-life KVs, me being a one-shot, the chances of winning this game are pretty much 0. So go ahead and get 1 shot into the back of the KV before I get spotted, and then we'll just back around. Obviously, there's not enough time for them to cap. They can't chase me. I don't like to play games this way and play for the draw because it's really a loss for both players. I like to go for the win when I can, but in a situation like that where really I didn't even have enough time to reload and kill those guys. So we end up with a draw. And when you see the numbers come up here, 22-15 on the damage, and 3 kills. Was a mastery even on a draw. But you look at the rest of the team, the KV with 800, Leo with 371, and the rest basically only got 1 shot in. So while I'm pumping out all of these shots on these guys, they did very little to help. And that goes to saying how difficult it is to carry in this tank. Alright, so how does this tank fare being bottom tier on Mayan Ruins? One of the things I really like to do on Mayan Ruins with any light or fast medium tank is to go straight to the middle and see if we can't spot their heavies going down the heavy line. So we're going to push forward into the middle of the map. And we see the KV-1S pushing hard straight at us. I want no piece of that. I'm not even going to try to get a shot off. So we will relocate, use our speed. Let's go ahead and just get out of there. Our ARL heavy has come to the right, so looks like we need to make a strong push here to the right. I decide what I'll do is come back over the bridge, as I know that KV-1S is up there, and I should be able to get some shots in on them. There's our first shot, and we're back to safety. You can see here a little bit difficulty with the pen. We missed that shot a little high. Our gun depression didn't help us at all there. We're seeing the side, so we can shoot in on the side. But we cannot penetrate this tank, the M4 from the front. So we're getting the top side of the hatch, of the turret. Obviously, I can't get anything down there. They're way too low for me. Still showing the side of the turret, so we'll keep putting shots into him. And go ahead and track the Hellcat. Here comes the KV-2. So I'm mindful KV-2 is coming this way. Go ahead and just miss that shot. Just back up a little bit too soon. And obviously I want to get out of there before that KV-2 unleashes. He only does 253 damage there, but manages to ram him. So now I'm outnumbered on that side. So I'm going to push around. And this is one of the nice things you can do with this tank is you take your shot, get into a position here and just keep on going. Don't even slow down. And I'm going to use my speed to circle around and come back on the KV2 here eventually in a second. So again, a lot of moving in this tank. A lot of map awareness is required to play it well. And also, you know, using terrain and the hills. So there's KV2. We've pulled up on him. Maybe I should have taken a shot at that Hellcat and finished him off. Obviously, there's going to be 3 or 4 shots. I got to get more into the KV2 before I take him out. Hoping I can get one more in, but I missed that shot before he's reloaded. So going to push around, and I see both of my teammates here are one-shots. So I want to go ahead and distract the Hellcat here. And if this had been a fully turreted TV, it wouldn't have been an issue. But you can see I pull all the way around, and KV2 one-shots me. So I get called out there for being a camper. But luckily, we've got a good Cromwell here. He gets a shot in while he's on the reload. So I'll just speed it up here, and Cromwell does a great job here of just basically baiting a shot from the KV2. There's the shot, and then obviously long reload. He can just go ahead and circle him and finish him off for the W. But as you saw from the game, I relocated several times throughout this game. I did make that dumb mistake there at the end, and so I only took one shot, but did 1447 damage, and I think I really helped the team with that one. So this game, top tier on Yamato Harbor. We have got a lot of lights and mediums here, so I'm going to go ahead and push left, and go ahead, and I'm just going to sit in this first bush here, hoping to get some spots when A20 comes up and rams me from behind. You know, one of those pet peeves of mine. So we're going to push up to the next hill. We'll spot the T40. I didn't think anyone else was up here, so I crest over, and sure enough, there's a bunch more. Take one shot. They're all kind of in the middle area here. They're not really pushing hard to their right. So what I'm going to do here is use the ELC's speed, and I'm going to flank all the way around, because I know that they've got at least 2 TDs sitting in the back, camping, unspotted. They've got a nice front line going there. So I thought about going to the right around the cap, just so I wouldn't show that I was coming through cap, but go ahead and decide just to go for it anyway. Again, trying to go as far wide here, so perhaps I can spot them before they see me, and I can at least get 1 or 2 shots off. So we'll come around this rock here, and sure enough, there's our first target and our second target. I'm now spotted, so the SU drops off. We get that shot into the track, and as we're backing away, he gets taken out. So coast is clear. SU's push forward. Let's continue on with our flank. And you can see we're down 2 tanks at this point in time. There's the SU. We'll go ahead and finish him off. Now we're just down 1 tank. And you can see the benefit of having flanked around is that most of these guys aren't paying attention to me. Even though I've been spotted. The A32 is going to try to get away, but we managed to get around the rock there. He is going to let everybody know that I have flanked. Oh, we get a nice shot into the T1. And there's the rest of their team. I was hoping to get a shot into the top of the ELC there, but I take a shot from the T1. So don't want to trade shots with him, so I'm going to push around to the side here. And figure he is our most important target to get out, so I want to push hard and get the shot in. but our T1 takes him out. So we're back to even, 3-on-3. I see the toasters in the back here, so I'm going to push onto him. I've opened up my ammo in case I want to switch over to HE. And there's our toaster. So we'll switch over to HE and unfortunately shoot him in the track. Not what we were hoping to do. We keep moving, we don't stop, and he bounces that shot. So the next shot we can do 164 damage. We'll switch over to AP to make sure the next shot goes in, but it doesn't matter because T1 is there. And you'll see here the slow turn and aim time. We don't get a shot in on their ELC. But we come back from being down, and that flank I think really helped to light up the Reds and put some damage into them and kind of distract. So you can see there 1130 damage, did get a scout medal, 2 kills, and a good effective use of this tank. Here's another game on Port Bay, top tier. Obviously with this many lights and mediums, really want to go left. Tell the team we're going left. So use my speed here to cross over the river undetected. And this is a great spot to get hull down and play a little peek-a-boom. So I'm lining myself up, and you can see here getting a little bit of difficulty with this gun, 5 degrees of negative gun depression. We are on a little bit of an incline. Again, don't want to be front line. So I've let these other guys push forward, and I'm surprised to see them all sitting here. So we'll get a shot in on the Hetzer and just back up as fast as we can. We're in a bad situation here. Take a shot. So moving in, moving slow, moving low, and just trying to work around the map here so that we're not in the middle of everybody. So we've got the Hetzer again behind us. We've got him to turn around. There's an M4. We'll get a shot in onto him, and as we take our shot we back up to safety. This team is not doing any damage. A little bit disappointing here as I pull forward and bounce that shot off the M4, and he gets a shot into me. So again, gonna go a circle around and get behind. You can see here speed is almost actually too much. We lose a little bit of control there, and the team is just folding. We're down to 3 tanks left. Got the AMX, and now I'm the only tank left, so I drop adrenaline hoping to get him out, but then I see these 2 tanks pushing around, so 5-on-1 again. This is all too common occurrence with me lately in this tank. So again, as I mentioned before, we want to try to separate the Reds, have their faster tanks come out, be too aggressive, and hopefully we can take advantage of that. So I'm trying to find a place where I can get some nice cover and just see what they do. Hopefully 1 or 2, I can handle 1 or 2, especially if they're already damaged. But I know there's a couple of them sitting in cap, so I want to go find a good spot to get a look in on cap. So we will circle around here. And sure enough, as we come around here at 170 meters, we do spot. And there's KV behind us. That's a no-go. B1's coming up to the right there. We get a shot in on him. And again, it's off to the races. I'm just trying to make it difficult for these guys. Come around the corner here, and oh, AMX 40. We bounce off the front there. Was not expecting him to see there, but we've got a faster reload time than he does, so we will finish him off and on the move again. The AC Sentinel comes up here. We get a nice shot into him. Now he is just a one shot, but unfortunately as we're coming down the hill, we hit this car and pretty much lose total control. He keeps pumping in the shots, and when we aim and shoot at him, we get him in the tracks, do no damage, and with his high rate of fire, he's just going to finish us off. But 1365 in damage, 1 kill. Like I said, this is a hard tank to carry in. It's a fun tank to play, but when you have results like this, when your second highest is at 429 and then you've got zeros on your team, it's just almost impossible to win games like that. So last game I want to show is Castilla. I am bottom tier. I was hoping our team would go left. We've got some nice heavies there, and that would allow me to climb up onto this ridge line and get some shots in. But looks like our KV's not moving, and our Cromwell has pushed to the other side really fast, gotten himself in a lot of trouble. So I'm not being useful here. No one's spotted on this side. Chances are they've all gone around. So I'm going to try to push back to the middle, see if I can't help. We missed that first shot on the Victory. We're going to go ahead and miss the second shot on the Victory. But he does some poor driving there, runs into the building. And again, we missed the shot. So now that they're on top of Castilla, I figure let's go ahead and get to the high point here, and perhaps we can do some sniping. As you can see, the KV's in this corner and he's not moving. So it does allow me to get up there and take care of the Leo. We are 3-on-3, and our AMX 12T is in trouble. And thankfully he has an amazing game and helps us out quite a lot. But I'm now trying to rush around and help him stay alive. That KV still hasn't moved, even though I know he's not AFK. So I'm unable to save the AMX, and I see that the 150 is pushing towards me. Now, the reason I wanted to play this game is because I know that KV, you can see him, he's moving up to the high point at the windmill. I want to draw these guys to him. I could have stayed there and dueled it out 1-on-2 tanks, and I'd have been unsuccessful. Maybe I would have finished one off. But you can see here what I've done is I've gotten myself about 200 meters away, and sure enough, there's the KV. He gets his first shot in of the game, and he's going to tell me, hey, I've got 2 seconds left to reload. That's fine. So here comes T150, and we'll just come right behind him and finish him off. So you can see how I drew in the opponents into the tank. So I use map awareness kind of in a different way, with knowing where my teammate was and drawing them to me. So gave that AMX a effective player, because he really did hold that game together for us. I really didn't do much that game, but you can see this tank is quite difficult to play effectively. It's certainly almost impossible to carry in this tank just because of the turret. So you got to use it for its other strengths. You got to use it to spot. You've got to use it to distract the other team. You know, running through and having some guys turn and aim at you while your team's able to put in fires is always good. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do a lot of damage in the tank, but you'll certainly be helping your team if you play it that way. So, as always, guys, stay safe out there. Have fun. It's just a game. And, of course, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.